Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Weekend Wind Down. I'm Nancy Gansekofer, business coach to interior designers and other creative entrepreneurs. As people come on, I want to share the wine that I'm drinking today. One of my favorite times. Hi, Darci. Absolutely one of my favorite times of the week is my weekend wind down. Sometimes I have a guest, sometimes I'm solo, sometimes I bring people in, kind of like call-in style. Hi, Heather. So I have a link available that I can send anyone who wants to come on, and we'll try to get everyone on who wants to be on. If you don't make it on today, I'll have you on next time. But today I am drinking Vanderpump Rosé. Not the greatest name in the world, but it's actually really good. So, hi, Kate, not Black Box. That's right. I should tell that story, did I not? I should tell that story because I told it in the group. So, cheers, everyone, to another beautiful summer weekend. I'm actually having company tonight. So, it's kind of crazy that I'm here right now where I should be getting the house ready and the food ready, but whatever. So, from the housewives. Hi, Julia. Cheers, everyone. Let me have a sip. Is anyone having a glass of wine with me? Or last night, I went with a girlfriend to a little local whiskey bar. We were actually going to get a bite to eat. And the guy, the bartender said, you guys don't drink whiskey? And we're like, oh, no, whiskey. Oh, it's horrible. We cannot possibly drink whiskey. And he pulls out a pecan whiskey. I don't know the brand. It was incredible. So my girlfriend today on my Instagram, if you don't follow me on Instagram, Nancy Gansekofer, he said, try this. So my girlfriend posted on my Instagram when I posted about weekend wind down. She's like, whiskey down? And I'm like, oh, that would have been a good thing to do. But okay, Darcy's got a cold beer. Your rosé was not chilled. I know mine. I had to actually throw it in the freezer because it wouldn't have been cool in time. And I hate drinking warm wine. So hi, Christine. Hi, Darcy. Okay, so we're all coming on. So I'm doing kind of like call-in show or ask me anything. I can certainly, Dixie. Hi, Dixie. I had never had pecan whiskey before. It's really sweet. He had mixed it with a honey whiskey and then seltzer, which I drank. I didn't love, but when I just put it over rocks, it was really just lovely, and you could sip it all night. You've got your Hamptons water in the fridge. What's that? Hamptons water? Is it just water? Forgive my ignorance, Christine. I don't know what that is. Let me show everybody that. Does anyone else know what Hampton water is? And yeah, we're not going to make the whole show about alcohol, but the pecan whiskey is certainly very lovely. And I never thought I'd be a whiskey drinker, but apparently now I might start doing that once in a while. So the new rosé, really? I have to try that. Oh, I need to visit you. Really? You're a whiskey drinker, Dixie. See, I wouldn't have known that about you. See, we learned something new. We learned something new. So like I said, if you'd like to join me live, I have a link that I can send you through Facebook Messenger, but I just thought I'd start out, like talking about my week. And one of the things that, I got to go back to hold on, I got to go back. The comment that Kate made, so in one of my group trainings, I told this story about how years ago I watched, I think it was a 60 Minutes or a 2020, not sure. And they brought their, NBC or CBS, whatever it was, I'm really not good with the details, guys, in for a cocktail party. And it was a cocktail party that they served very exclusive wine in beautiful boxes and in beautiful in bottles, bottles. I can't come up with the word bottles, with a great label. but it was really something called black box wine. So I watched this 60 Minutes where a bunch of people, hi Darci, I see you, I'll bring you on soon. I watched a bunch of people drink this wine out of beautiful glasses, beautiful bottles, incredible label, in a great environment in an exclusive restaurant. And they got asked one by one on camera what they thought of this new wine, which they had given a completely different name, like something very foo-foo. One by one, everyone said, "Oh my God, it was fabulous. I loved the cinnamon notes, the apple notes," right? Everybody had a description on what the wine tasted like. In the end, it was literally black box wine, poured into beautiful bottles with great labels, served with waiters who had gloves on and the whole, napkin thing. So it actually, they were trying to show how the experience of drinking the wine, of presenting a product, is what makes people think it's more valuable than it really is. Even once the people knew that it was black box wine, because they revealed it at the end, they still held to the fact that this was fabulous wine. So stupidly, or not stupidly, I went out and and my Long Island accent is coming through, a box of black box wine. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I hope they never listen to this. It was terrible. It was disgusting. I took one sip and I'm like, oh my God, how these people, even with the experience of everything that was around them, thought that this was good. They just straight lied. I ended up throwing it out. And my lesson, hi, Darci.
Hi.
My lesson was that when you give the client an exclusive experience, not that your service should ever be bad, guys, let's be clear, but the perception of luxury gets ramped up when you give the client a fabulous experience. So, so Darci, you heard the story. I saw you laughing while you were in the waiting room.
I'm totally new to this whole thing, so oh, and there's an echo. I don't know if you can
Are
hear
you
that.
hearing an echo of me or of you?
Me.
Oh, that's because I
Oh,
don't have headphones on and you do. So let me see
oh.
if I put headphones on, if that
I think
solves
it
it.
might have gone away. It went
Oh,
away.
good.
It went away. No,
Okay.
I didn't know what the thing that you sent me the link, and I was like, oh my God, there's my face. I wasn't expecting that, so I didn't know what the waiting room was. Sorry to bust in on you.
No, I'm happy you did. This is what the call-in show is all about. So yeah, in one of my groups, I was telling this story. Oh, I'm throwing papers around. I was telling this story how when, and you've done this in your business, right? When you
Hmm.
have at some point an assistant, right? And you have your assistant answer the phone and screen the phone calls. And the first time they see you is when you come for their consult. And then you have a fabulous welcome package. And you have your system well laid out. This whole perception and hopefully reality of your service level is huge for a
Yeah.
client's perception. Don't you think?
Yeah, and actually, I haven't yet told you, but I can share this with you and everybody else who's watching because this is to toot a Nancy horn. So I got a new inquiry yesterday, and sounded fabulous. It's like Central Park West. It was a estate condition, which I love because that means the whole thing's just getting gutted. And my assistant admin in the office, she took the initial phone call and was speaking with her. Was on the phone with her for quite a while. I was actually out of the office when it happened. Came back and she had relayed some. There was a couple questions that the woman had asked. Long story short, we kind of figured out that this is probably not my ideal client. She couldn't understand why we charged for the consultation. We expressed to her what, like whether you decide to go with me or not, when I come out there, you're going to get a ton of information. And she was like, well, I was looking at something called Build and Design or something. I don't know what it is, something like that. And, we said, well, it was myself and a couple other people in the office because she called back twice.
Really? See,
Yeah,
that's an interested client, and she's
that's what
just trying to pry you.
well, she goes, I don't understand. Other people aren't charging. And the response was that she got from basically all three of us at different points throughout the day was, I can't speak to how other people charge, but I do know what we are going to bring to the table.
Beautiful.
And you can take all this information that we give you and you can either sign with us or you can take it and go on your merry way, or but I just want to know that when I show up, you're getting expertise and blah blah blah. Well, I had to leave last night at like 4:30. I get a text message from my assistant at like 6 o'clock. She called back again. And we're like, why? But it's that percept. And it's funny because it's like, whether or not she can afford me, I don't know. But it's like, it's that I don't know if I'd say I want what I can't have, but for her, there's clearly something with us that she's not, that she's like, wait a second, what's going on here? And if she didn't dismiss it, which I thought was pretty powerful. And I was glad that we stood in our space and said what we had to say.
So powerful. You're one of my clients, and I work with a lot of people, and it's so hard for them to go from not charging to charging.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear everything. Well, I'm just going to meet them to see if I want to work with them. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I get that. However, when you're there, wouldn't you like to just be yourself? Wouldn't you just like to give freely of all the creativity going on in your head and not be doing the whole, I got to hold back because until they hire me, I'm not saying anything.
Right.
And wouldn't you like to know that if they paid you for that first consultation, that they're actually serious about moving forward? And what a great example. That woman so wants to work with you, but she's got that whole yin yang thing going on. Well, I should.
She even said something like, well, I just want you to get to know you. Like, I want to even see. And I said, I get that. But I said, experience has showed me that when I'm in somebody's home, questions come up and I want to feel like I can freely give you of my information. And so it's never been a 15-minute, it's just never been a 15-minute conversation. It always turns into an hour and a half conversation. And that's why we charge for it. Because I want to be able to answer I want to be able to answer those questions and not be like all coy and, I'll get you that information when we sign and because then what do you care? What do I look like? Or, yes, you want to have it's a relationship for sure because you're with these people for 6, 8, 12, 18 months, depending on the project.
Absolutely.
But regardless of if you like my personality or not, just know that I'm going to come to give you a ton of information. And if you don't like me, that's totally fine. But the information I'm giving you is completely valid and it requires payment.
100%. Besides the fact that, listen, as a New York City designer, it's not like you just walk down the block or get in your car and drive 15 minutes to get anywhere.
Right.
Anywhere. It's going to take you time, and you're not charging for that travel time in this
Right.
initial consultation, unless, of course, perhaps you do when you go into the Hamptons. Or
yeah, if it's the Hamptons, or I have one up in the where were we today? We were
Westchester.
no, we were way past that. Dutchess County. I was up in Dutchess County earlier
Wow.
today. So, and we
Right.
charged for that one. But yeah, it's a lot.
But you see how that exclusive
Exclusive is oh God.
you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
can't say it. But now she's like intrigued.
Right.
And she wants, like, well, I want to work with you.
Right.
And you know what? Listen, it's not really about playing games at all. It's not about trying to be exclusive. It's truly about you're talented, designers are talented, coaches are talented, right? We are doing something that we know we can move the needle for somebody. We can give them information. And why should we not get paid? And I don't want to compete. And I don't compete. I don't even look at anybody else who's not charging because
Right.
I just know for me, for my business model and for you, it's not worth your time if you're not getting paid.
Right. Right.
You could be working on an existing client. You could be working on marketing towards your existing client. Let me just see what people are saying. Kate said 4 calls seem like red flags to me. No. Oh, you know what? I'm not sure I agree with that, Kate. I think that so many people struggle with making a decision. And and I'll coach Darci a little bit live on this. Next
Hmm.
time she calls, you literally can say, "You just need to do this.
Right. Right.
You just need to do this," because obviously you've called 4 times. You are interested in my design sense, my service. No matter whether you move forward with me or not, my famous line, everyone who coaches with me can repeat this. I will save you time, money, and mistakes moving forward after the consult. Whether you
Right.
move forward with me, yourself, or someone else, I
Yeah.
guarantee it. Because you guys are so knowledgeable, no matter what, the information you're relaying will save them one of those 3 things.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, Kate, that's why I think not necessarily a red flag, but an opportunity
Yeah.
to work with someone who, yes, may be indecisive and you need to hone your indecisive coaching skills. But you know what? At the same time, that person could be a really good client. You may
Yeah.
be able to guide them right
Hmm.
through the design process. I can't speak today. Okay, let me see what else everyone is saying here. So, hi, Paige. Hi, I'm at physical therapy.
Oh,
I love.
that's my language. I only have one more month left. I got the all clear from my doctor. I can go back to I can go
Who
back to
you told
exercising.
her?
Yeah, I went yesterday, and it's like yes. So only one more month. Super excited.
That's really good. That's pretty
No,
quick.
it is pretty quick, considering.
So,
Yeah.
so what did you think about my show last week? I wrote some notes, right, just in case nobody came
Oh my
in.
gosh,
Oh my God, I really enjoyed Lorianne.
she's hysterical.
Hysterical.
She's so funny. Yeah, no, that was really good. And no, I really liked her. And whoever didn't get to watch it needs to go back because
Yeah.
was started looking through my closet. In the summertime, I don't have much black. She talked about not wearing black. I have actually quite a bit of color or white. Like this is white with like embroidery on. I wear like bright necklaces. But in the winter, I'm all gray. But I don't know. I mean, I was like, maybe I need to think about wintertime. Maybe I need to come up with a color to wear in the winter. I don't know. But in the
I
summer,
have to
I'm all
tell you,
color.
I need, listen, I dress appropriately for my height, size,
Yeah,
what I do, but I'd like to pump it up at times. And
yeah,
I'm going to work with her. She's so funny, and
yeah,
she's had such an incredible history in the styling and design world
yeah.
that I think her knowledge is incredible. And I love the fact that, and I'll share this with everybody, Darcy messaged me like, you know what, it'd be great to have on somebody
Hmm.
who's all about like business etiquette, networking, things like that, which I love suggestions like that because I want to know what you guys want to learn. And
Yeah, I just think it would be so, it's like you go to an industry event or not even an industry event, forget about that. Like if you go into, I don't know, your husband's office party or whatever, and it's like a mingling situation, those are like, it's not, I mean, you're about your business and words and stuff like that, but even forget even getting there, just like, how do you properly, who do you introduce first? I always mess that up.
what do you
You
mean,
know,
who do you introduce first?
like if you and I are standing at a cocktail party and you are and I see Bob over there, like and Bob comes over, do I say, "Oh Bob, I want you to meet Nancy," or do I say, "Nancy, this is my friend Bob"? Like I know that there's etiquette there somewhere.
Yeah, but you stumped me on that one. I
And
don't know which one you're supposed to introduce first, but I have my little secret code when Richie and I go places.
oh, and you don't know the name?
Yeah, I'm like, by the way, if I don't know the name and you don't see me introducing yourself, just
Say
introducing you,
say
put your
hi, I'm
hand out and
Richie.
say,
Yeah,
"Hi, I'm Richie. What's your name?" And I'll be like,
yeah.
"Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't introduce you." Right? We have this whole code. So anyone who's listening, sorry about that. I'm actually not that good with names, even though I can
I'm
teach. Like, how do you remember someone's name? Repeat it 3 times in the first minute.
Yeah, but my problem is that inevitably because this happens to me. I don't know. There'll be like three people. Oh, hi, I'm Bob. Tracy and Matt, and I'll be like, oh crap, and
Hi,
Bob, Tracy,
Bob.
Matt,
Hi,
Bob, Tracy,
Tracy.
Matt.
Hi, Matt. Nice to meet you.
And then it's like they're talking, and meanwhile, in the back of my head, I can see like Bob, Tracy, Matt, Bob, Tracy, Matt, Bob, Tracy, Matt, and meanwhile they're talking to me, and I don't know what they're saying, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, and it's like I don't know, I could have been laughing at like a really inappropriate joke or I don't know
Yeah,
something.
I have to tell
Anyways,
you, I'm not the best on coaching on that one, but I loved, Luann one time said on one of our coaching, we did a co-coaching together at one point, and she said, what I do when I'm nervous about going to a networking event, she goes, I walk in and I pretend it's my party.
I've heard people say that before, and I think, and you know what? I actually did that one night, and I flipped it, and it was really great. My husband and I went to it was last summer. We were at, they had an outdoor event at MoMA. We're members of MoMA, and they had like in their garden, if you know where their garden is, their like statue, whatever they call it, their statue garden or something
They're
like that.
uh,
Not statues. It's like
a
their
sculpture garden.
yeah, sculpture garden. So they had this event, and we went, and my husband, we both, when we go to these events, we like walk in and they go, psh, we separate. It's like, you go over there, I'm going to go over here. We're just going to mingle. And I had recently heard that, and I walked in there, I'm like, this is my party. And and I walked right up to people and I started talking to them, and it was a total mind shift, and it was a confidence booster like none other. It was amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? It's really important when you go to those places to have that mind shift. And I
Yeah.
have Vanessa Van Edwards is a body, she's a body language specialist, and I'm obsessed with her. It's like my next
Oh,
training is going to be on body language. She teaches a course on how to see if someone's lying, how to figure out their
yeah.
tells, right?
Yep.
It's really rough being my boyfriend, trust me, right? So, and I'm like, you're lying. I see your tell, like I'm brutal like that. But the body language of someone who's confident attracts people. The
Yeah.
body language of someone who's not detracts for sure. And next
Right.
thing you know, you are standing by yourself. And also Vanessa Van Edwards, what's her book? I have it. It's called Captivate. It's on my website on
Mm.
the resources page.
Yep. I think I have that saved in one of my book lists. But yes.
I love this book because it also has I think it's a chapter on networking. And
Mm.
where do you think you should stand?
Oh, I know that. Oh no! Wait a minute. God, I've read this book. That's right. You're supposed to stand
Probably because
over
I
by.
recommended it, right? Or before that.
Maybe I think it might have been before that. I was reading it last summer, so it was
Okay.
actually before I met you. Yeah. You're supposed to stand over by when people are when they've gone to the cocktail and they've already gotten their cocktails and their hands are full, right?
By the bar.
By the bar, yeah.
Yeah.
Because people are either waiting to get a drink or they've just gotten a drink and they have a plate in one hand and a drink in another, and their hands are full and they don't know kind of what to do. I think, or something like that. It was like,
I think if I remember, it was
or is it
been a
right
while since
before?
I read the book. It's more like it's easy conversation. Like you can look at someone and go, cheers, and right
Yeah,
away have eye contact. Or you
yeah,
can say, oh, what are you drinking? And, oh, I should try that. It's just easy conversation
yeah.
right next to the bar.
Right.
The
And
other,
I think she was saying like people would normally walk in and they beeline it for the bathroom, or they like hover around this one wall. Yeah, yeah. It was pretty, and she showed a diagram in there, like how, like the people that like how things like what a typical party looks like, where things are typically set up, and what people typically do. And she's like, don't do this.
right. She had
It was,
X's,
yeah, yeah,
like don't hang out in
yeah.
this zone, hang out in this zone.
Right.
So, and it makes a lot of sense. The other day, she has a YouTube channel, which again I'm obsessed with.
I'm walking because what do you know what time it is, Nancy?
It is 4:54.
Oh crap. I'm on my way to go pick up my daughter. She's a block away.
Oh no. One
I'm
of
not driving, people. I'm walking.
right, because you've been drinking, so no driving. One of the other things, what is it? Wait, I'm just looking. So Sharon said,
Oh, I lost you.
no, you're back. Sharon said, I have a tip. Connect it to a known celebrity. Oh, when you're trying to remember the name. You know what? Listen, Alzheimer's runs in my family, and I'm not even making a joke, but I literally misassociate. If I associate it with a
I might have lost
celebrity,
you.
you're back. You're back. If I associate with a celebrity name, somehow it transposes in my head and it changes. So I have to be very careful with name associations.
Yeah.
But anyway, Vanessa Van Edwards did a YouTube video the other day on if you're going to a conference room, where is the power position? Where should you sit in relation to the power position, depending on what you're looking to accomplish at the meeting, right?
Is the power position the head or is it the side? In
It's
the middle?
if it's a rectangular table, the power position is the head of the table furthest from the door, facing the door,
Right.
right? But if it's a round table, the power position is actually opposite the door, so that the power position person
Like
is
facing.
looking at the door
Right.
because they will see who's coming in. And if you want to have a really solid influence on the head person, let me see, I hope I get this right. You sit to the left of the power person.
Oh.
The person on the right is also quite a powerful influencer on the power position, but not as much as the person on the left. So again, my memory wavers, but anyway, Vanessa Van Edwards is really interesting to watch with her body language tips. One of the things she teaches, and she researches science, she's a scientist actually. She teaches that when you're speaking, people who use their hands more, she actually studied TED Talkers.
Uh-huh.
And the TED Talks that are the most watched are the ones who have the most hand motion.
Oh, I think I heard about this study.
It's so
It's
interesting. So in other words, if you're talking to a client, so let's apply this to your everyday life, right? So if you're talking to a client and you want to say the three things I really want you to remember is one, right? And you're motioning, right? And then you're saying, and two, rather than just sitting with your hands down, like one, the thing I really want you to remember, and two, that, right? Using your hands
oh, that's so
either
cool.
is really something that people remember more. They're more compelled to watch you rather than getting bored and getting distracted. So when you're watching any future TED Talks, which I also love to watch the people who tend to be most popular. They use a lot of hand motions,
That's very interesting.
right? Interesting, weird tidbits that come to my mind. But anyway, so this woman who's called you now 4 times.
So called she called twice. Well, no, so she called my office and Erica was going to get back to her because she had a question that Erica wasn't familiar with. And I'm still training her, so that we're still working through that. And then I had walked in the door, and Erica placed her on hold and said, Darci, can you get on the? So I talked to her, and then I left, and then she called back, and Sarah spoke with her. It was like 5:30 last night, and then the funny thing is that I went to go plug my phone in last night, and I just quickly checked to see what kind of emails I had. She had replied at 9:50 something last night to Erica's email. I'm like, this woman has been like on my radar basically all day. From
Interesting.
like she emailed me yesterday morning at 7:80, 7:50, 7:58 or something. So basically, from 8 o'clock yesterday morning until 10 o'clock last night, I somehow was on this woman's mind because. So we'll see. I don't
Now,
know.
do you feel like it's a red flag, or do you feel like
I don't feel like it's a red flag, but I feel like actually what was quite interesting is, so I left work at I don't know 4:30 last night, and before I had gotten Sarah's text to let me know that this woman had called back, I was sitting there and I'm like replaying this conversation in my head and like, was I too this? Was I too that? Was I not enough? Blah 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 blah. And I thought to myself, and it's like I have little Nancy on my shoulder, and I was thinking to myself, you know what? No, everything we said it was spot on. I know the value that we're bringing, and I feel really confident with this decision. And if she can't afford us, I understand, and I don't fault her that at all. But it's like I'm also not going to um, dumb down my services or my fees to accommodate her, and just in the nicest possible way. And
right?
then when I got that text, I was like, it is that there is that truth where it's like she had already made comment that she's spoken with other designers. Nobody else has said that they were going to charge. Why do we charge? Well, clearly something is in her head of like they're charging. I want what I can't have, or what is might be a little bit of a reach for me. Not what I can't have, but what's going to be what's harder because she's standing firm. She's not budging. She's very confident in why she's telling me what she's telling me. Um, that was like kind of what I was getting because it's like whoever said it earlier who typed in, it's like there's interest there. There was interest and because she could have like found out my feeling like, oh, you're crazy and goodbye,
Right.
and like I'm gonna go with a freebie or
Right.
whatever, and that's fine. That's your prerogative. It's your house. It's your money. Your whatever. But I also know what I bring and what I'm gonna do, and I was very confident and clear in my delivery of that. Again,
Yeah.
Nancy's on my shoulder.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I can't believe how many of my clients say that at this point. Like, Mini Nancy's on my shoulder, and I'm fighting with her, right? But
Yeah,
because your old habits of,
right,
well, I kind of would like another job, or for some designers, it's like I'm really desperate for a job, and I should cut into my procedure and my profit in order to get this. But
right.
guys, don't do it.
And the thing
Don't
is,
do
I
it.
mean, this is a big job, not in the fact of it's a full gut renovation of a 3-bedroom apartment. I don't care if
In
you
Manhattan,
in Manhattan. And it's like this is a big job. Even if you were going with Home Depot white subway tiles, it's a big job. There's so many moving parts and it's like she was talking about this build company was, and it's like maybe they have it all in the house. And Sarah made a good point. They might have it quote unquote locked down, but I guarantee you there's no real thought behind it. Oh, here's a kitchen. We're going to put in a kitchen. Well, have you thought about how you're moving in this kitchen? Have you thought about, you're showing them one tile. Have you thought about these other tiles? Have you even shown them? Do you know about these other tiles? Like, I can't speak to their level. Maybe they're amazing. I have no idea, but I do know what it takes for me to produce a kitchen, let alone a kitchen, 2 bathrooms and 3 bedrooms and a living room and a dining room.
right. This is
So,
obviously not a person who is um, struggling for money because they are living in Manhattan in that size
right.
apartment. But I respect the fact that not everyone spends their money in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But as a business owner, you cannot get sucked into their money story,
No,
right?
no.
You need to say it's a 40% profit margin for me to be profitable. And guys, if you don't know that number, that's
We
the
hadn't
number.
even, actually, to be honest with you, we hadn't even gotten that far. They said, it sounds like they're somewhat of a young, excuse me, a younger couple, probably in their early 30s. They bought this apartment. The address is an amazing address, and it is in a state condition. We did see some photos online of it, and it's like, I mean, it's this person, whoever lived there, probably died there, and they never did a thing for 50 years. Um, so I'm sure they got a great deal in the apartment. But she's like, our all in budget is 350 to 400,000. And I mean, people that might be watching that are in other states, that sounds like you could buy an entire house for that, and I get it. But I know, and I'm not talking like doing crazy finishes, but I know what for in New York with my contractor and the level of work that we do, and like good mid to high range like a marble, and not everything marble. I'm not talking like we're doing, onyx and gold leaf. I mean, I'm
Right.
not talking, quickly, I knew that his bid was going to come in around 350 to 400. And that's not even, that's just giving you an apartment to pull your IKEA furniture into, because that's kind of what she said she had.
Wow.
So, it's like I would rather have this very frank discussion going forward, but I'm going to tell you, hey, your 650, 700, $800 um, uh,
Investment.
consultation fee with me
Oh,
is
yeah.
I'm going to tell you, like, you know what, here's where you can save money. If you do this tile on the wall here, and then we do
Right.
this countertop, it's going to have a really rich look. Let's do 2 great light fixtures that have a little bit more impact. I mean, there's all these different things that we're going to be selling them, instead of like, well, you can afford 3x5 subway tiles, and that's what I'm going to give you all the way around.
Right.
Like,
What I'm having a lot this week is some of my clients, and I'm having this conversation. I actually wrote it down as one of the things I wanted to talk about. So this fits perfectly in there. how when they ask what the client's investment amount is, which, because I don't use the word budget,
And
guys,
I
and
was so good about using. I kept saying I had to think. I'm like, it's investment amount, investment amount, investment amount. I kept saying it over and over and over.
I will tell you over and over again, if someone says, what's your budget? I want to sit on my wallet. I'm like, I have no budget. What do you mean? I want to
Right.
spend nothing. But if you say to me, what's your investment amount? I go, oh, yeah, because I'm investing in my home, right? So it changes my entire mindset, and it will for your clients as well. So I don't believe in the word budget. Change everything you have to investment. What is your, have you done your research? What's your investment amount? So besides that, when a client says, well, I only want to spend 20,000 and you know it's going to cost 50,000 and you sit there going, how can I make this work for them? How can I make this work for them?
Can't.
I am telling you, as Kate heard me say, don't get sucked into their money story, right? Their lack of wanting to spend money is not something I want you to try to figure out. I want you to say, I hear you. I can be
Right.
economical in some areas. We need to have, very important pieces that cost more money,
Right.
fixtures and things like that. They're going to last you a lifetime. You don't want things that are going to fall apart. Your job is to be honest with them,
Right.
right? You can do some more expensive things, some less expensive things, and that's good. As a designer, I think you need to have that. But if
Mm-hmm.
you just get sucked into their money story and you say, "Oh my God, I'm only going to get this job if I can adhere to $25,000," then honestly,
No.
you shouldn't take it. You should not
Well,
take it.
or you take it with, or you take it knowing, telling them, I respect that you have 350,000 and that's your drop, your end all, but here's what you're going to get for it. I can't give you everything on your checklist. It's impossible for me.
Correct.
It's going to be a disservice for you to sign with me and me telling you that when it's, I know darn well I can't deliver that. It's, and then you're going to get yourself in trouble, or like you said, you're going to start, taking away from your profit and your bottom line.
Right. Now, Heather's saying, is this before you've actually seen the apartment? It might actually be a little bit for you because you know New York City so well and you know the size of the apartment and she's saying it's a gut renovation. Or how did you know that it was going to need, it was an estate? How did you know that?
It's an estate sale, and she told us. And while we're on the phone with her, we Googled the address, and we found the listing, and we found the pictures, and it is I mean, it is an estate sale.
Okay.
There's linoleum on the floor.
Woo!
The kitchen is, it's the 1950s, the metal cabinetry with like, sorry, is ambulance going by?
New York City's finest.
Love it. Bye guys. And the bathrooms were, it's a total gut. It's a total gut. And that's, and that's being somewhat conservative, because that's assuming, again, this is because, to Heather's point, I've done enough of these in New York City. I know that that's, if we were to rip out, so like I call it rip out and replace. So if the tub is staying where the tub is, and the toilet staying where the toilet is, and the kitchen sink is staying where the kitchen sink is,
Right.
if you want to move the kitchen sink to the other side of the kitchen, guess what? That, and it's not to be like we're nickeling and diming. It's not that. There's so much. It's an apartment. I have to reroute plumbing lines. It's not like a house where you can just go under the house and kind of go. It's there's a, and not only that, but there's, in New York City, there's a difference between an LAA or an Alt 1 alteration of packet. So an LAA basically is the plumber's going and he's pulling his permits for the city, which is totally above board, but it doesn't have to get an architect of record to sign off on it. It doesn't have to get filed with the DOB. An Alt 1, and if this project turns into an Alt 1, she's looking at an architect's fee of at least 10 grand just to get it through the city.
And this is the stuff that, listen, I love your Darci's favorites. I want you to add to it some of this stuff, because I don't think people know what it takes. And no matter where you are a designer, there are specifications in your area, plumbing specifications, building specifications, right? Things that people don't realize, that as a designer, you are protecting their ass, right?
Right.
And they don't know that in New York City, you have to have all these permits and you have to, there's a huge waiting period for some of this stuff too,
Yeah. There's a
right?
huge waiting period, and not only that, but you have to make sure that at the end of the job, it's actually closed out. Because if the job doesn't get closed out, and then let's say they want to go flip this apartment in 3 years, they want to sell it. Guess what? That's I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think I'm speaking here. It needs to be then brought to the whatever the current code is,
Right.
or you have to find the people to go back and close out the job with the city, which is another very expensive thing. So there's all these things. You don't just start the job; you also finish the job. And I don't mean like the contractor's now finished. I mean like, is it finished with the city? Has the DOB said, okay, we're all good and clear? I think my daughter's bus is pulling up. Yep, here come the campers.
Okay, when you have to go, you just let me know. But it's true, you know what? And I don't think that your ideal client, your target client understands the project management side of what you do and
Right.
how valuable it is to them and how much time you save them. And this is where I'm constantly teaching people communicate the service of what you do. We can't compete with the internet anymore, right? So it's not really about that. Oh, look how cute. I remember
My
when my
little
kids used to
camper.
be excited to see me, but now it's
She
like,
wants to see you.
oh, hi. I
She always
met her. I
she.
met her in the elevator when I did
Yes, you
your
did.
surprise visit, right? Right.
She's like, hang on, mom, I gotta go say hi. I gotta go hug my friend goodbye. I'm like, all right,
Oh,
fine.
oh, I love that age. I
She's
don't
pretty
have that
awesome.
anymore. I don't have that
Kaden
anymore.
doesn't come up and throw his arm around you and say, I'm gonna go
Actually,
hug my.
he does. He does. When he comes home, he lives 2 hours away. When he comes home, he does first thing,
That's
drops his
awesome.
bag and comes and hugs me. So definitely. So, but
Oh
still, you
gosh.
kind of miss the baby hugs,
Yes.
the little kid hugs.
So
So,
funny.
but yeah, you know what you guys do, and this is why I'm constantly saying, everyone's like, well, I'm not competitive. I've called the people who do what I do in my area, and I'm not competitive, and I'm overpriced. And I'm like, you know what? I don't. It is no. Hi. There's no glory in being the cheapest.
No, I know. But I mean, it's like, Nancy, I'll say this, if anybody's watching right now that doesn't coach with Nancy and is wondering what also valuable should, it's like, this is all, I mean, this is a huge reflection of what I've learned from you, implementing it. It's so true. It's like you have to set your value. Um, and own it, and it's like, and the confidence comes. It did. I mean, you know me, a year ago it was like I was wavering, and I know that I have a good design business. I know I have a good ethics. I know that
You're
I
a
have all
great
those other
designer.
I'm
You're
a
a
good design.
great designer.
Yeah, I had all those things, but it was like the other part of it, because I was trying to accommodate something. But it's like, no, we actually have really, really good value, and that needs to be reflected in everything.
It does.
So,
It does. And I'm glad you feel your value now.
mhm.
And that probably is my strong point, right? Helping people feel their value and learning the words around how to communicate your value, not only to yourself, but to your clients,
Yeah, yes,
right?
yeah, yep,
About what
absolutely.
you do. But I feel like you need to be with your daughter at this point.
They're walking. She's walking a tightrope walk home. She loves it. It's something she would
Oh,
do every day.
she's so cute. When I met her in the elevator, she's like, "Hi," and I didn't even know she was your daughter. So I did a surprise visit to Darci. So my
Yes.
boyfriend Richie works for Microsoft, and on the side he does computer stuff. He helps people up their computers, replace their computers, fix their computers, both
Oh my gosh, it
virtually
was
and in
amazing.
person. So yeah. Oh my God, I have to tell you guys, and I'm sorry, Darcy, I'm outing you.
Oh,
Darcy's computers. He would start it, and it would take a full
oh,
5 to 7 minutes until
at
you could
least,
even click
at
on
least,
anything.
at least. And now it's funny because I go home and I just like flip open my laptop and and I'm like, God, this is amazing.
But think about, and I can't tell you how many clients of mine, you know who you are, can't Zoom with me because they don't have a camera working, or it's not working. I need to figure this out, right? Their computers are so slow that they just can't do quickly what they need to do. And think about your productivity in your office. How has it increased since you've
Oh
fixed
my
your
gosh.
computers?
I mean, I can't, I don't even have words. I don't even have words. It was one of those things where I remember, a month ago before I got all the new stuff, a task would come up in my head of something I needed to do. For whatever reasons, I didn't want to do it from my phone because of, I don't know, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but it needed to come from my computer. It needed to come from, like, let's say my email address with my signature on the bottom of it. And I would literally sit there and go, how important is this?
Right.
Because it would take me, or it's like, oh my gosh, I just need to look up this one thing. Why can't I do this one thing?
Right.
And it was, I mean, it's like, how much, yes, the computers are expensive, but it's like, how much was it costing me in just the pure aggravation, not to mention the amount of time it would take to get one simple task done? It was ridiculous.
And productivity, you're worth how much per hour? Your employees are
Yeah,
each being paid how much per hour?
yeah.
And how many hours was that, as Christine said, the spinning beach ball going off during, I love that. The spinning beach ball sucks is what she wrote. How many,
Sarah would call it the rainbow of death. Oh God, I got the rainbow of death again. Like, there we go.
right? But if you think about productivity wise, and
It's
yes,
crazy.
you know what, spending money on your computers feels like, why should I have to? But in the end, if you don't have a working computer and you're not efficient, it affects everything.
It affects everything, and yeah. It's been a game changer. It's been an absolute game changer.
Good.
So
So I'm glad Richie could help you. It doesn't have to be
yeah,
Richie, guys, but if your computer is not working, get a new one or get
yeah.
someone to service it. I mean, the other day, my son's computer, who like it's the coolest thing. I have to say this. So that somebody posted in my group, Actionable Entrepreneurs, that they needed help with
Zoe.
photoshopping some photos. They were actually putting them
Right.
in a book. And I thought, you know what? My 19-year-old taught himself how to literally taught himself Photoshop over 3 or 4 years
Yeah.
um, when he was very young, and he's a whiz. When Hurricane Sandy hit, he actually photoshopped, um, volunteered to Photoshop and fix
Oh.
photos that were ruined in Hurricane
Oh,
Sandy.
that's amazing.
And it was amazing the work he did. Like he took photos that were water damaged and just half gone, and he fixed them. And people were so through, and that was all volunteer.
Oh,
So
that's so
it
nice.
was so nice. And recently, he's in college now, and he's acting a BFA in musical theater major. And I said, not for nothing, you're gonna bus tables, be a singing waiter while you're going for auditions, but you have a skill in Photoshop. Like, why not use it? So,
Yeah.
whatever, 19. He's like, yeah, mom. So I saw somebody who posted in my group, Actionable Entrepreneurs, that they needed photos for their work or for things they were doing for a book. It was an interior designer. And I tagged my son. He took the job. He showed her 3 samples. He did such amazing work, and he's so reasonably priced because he's 19. And I just went, you have a skill. Like,
Right.
use it while you're in college to make a little extra money, and then post college you'll have a reputation and you'll have testimonials. I forgot the whole point of this, but if you have a
Computers.
skill,
Yeah.
computers, right? Like, if your computer's not working, you're going to get locked up. And, oh, that's what it was. My son's computer wasn't working. And it was actually beyond Richie's expertise. It was hardware. So we called somebody in to fix it right away, because if it wasn't to get fixed, he wouldn't be able to do what he does best efficiently.
Right.
So do what you do best efficiently. Make sure all your equipment is working. Make sure your systems are working. That was my point. Okay, so let me go back because I lost my train of thought. One more glass of wine. Okay, I use Avast for cleanup and scanning. The more you have to, it's startup clogs. Then again, my Dell all-in-one desktop is about one. Oh, Elizabeth writes, Darci and Nancy, hi.
Hi.
Um, Hi. But okay, so what did we discuss here today? We discussed a bunch of things.
I'm so sorry. I feel like it's been the Nancy and Darci show. I didn't mean to. I just was popping on to say hi.
No, that's okay. Listen, that's what I
Okay.
said. It's a call-in show. If anyone else wants to come on, I have 10 more minutes, but I think that when I speak to you, and I think it's important, Darci, because I have to be honest, and you know, I'm really kind of upfront with this. People say to me all the time, I want to be like Darci. They really
Okay.
look at your website and look at your Darci favorites at noon on Fridays on your Facebook.
Friday favorites. Friday favorites.
Friday favorites, sorry, Darci's Friday.
It's okay. That's fine.
And they don't always realize, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, the work you've done and the learning you've done to get to where you are and where you continue to want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important for people to see that.
Absolutely, and I certainly don't shy away from it. I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm a talented designer. I feel like I do good work. I think when I met you, well, I told you that the end of 2016 and 2017 was horrendous for me. And but you know what? I wouldn't trade it for the world because it was, I call it continuing education. So it was, you know, what things that I didn't, you know, I had sailed through, you can go. I had sailed through the recession of 2008. I had great clients, and kind of just kept on going until 2016, end of 2016, beginning of 2017. And it was, you know, it's continuing education as far as I'm concerned. And the lessons that I've learned from you and from Laura on her podcast, but you can't just sit there and learn it. You have to implement it. And, you know, and having somebody like you who's checked in on me, it's like, did you do this? Have you done that? Have you, you know, this? Oh, I don't want to do this. I have to do it. Okay, fine. Fine, I'll do it.
Well, it's also being and making conscious decisions,
yes,
not just throwing spaghetti against the wall. I can't tell you how many designers are like, I have to grow my Instagram, I have to grow Pinterest, I have to do my Facebook, I have to do this. And I sit there and I go, why?
Why? Yeah.
Right? Do you understand why you're doing something before you waste your time or money on it? You need to have a goal in mind. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you're just like, well, so-and-so does it, so I should be doing it.
But so-and-so might be able also, like, that might be their jam, and maybe that's their clientele jam too, and maybe that's not where your clientele lives. It's been hard. I mean, this is not fixed. I am not fixed. There's still a lot to learn, a lot to implement, and a lot to grow. And I still question you every time we talk. Am I supposed to be doing Facebook Live? Although I do enjoy it now. But it's, you know, I mean, it's still a beast, and I'm still, you know, but I don't know. And so I just feel like, I mean, I'm very, very humbled and honored that people want to be like Darci, whatever that means. But, you know, you have asked me before if I'm willing to speak to people, and I am. If they want, you know, I don't know what I can possibly share that could help them, but I'm willing to share if it's going to help somebody else get over, you know, like, don't make those costly mistakes that I've made before.
Right.
Don't, you know, it's like, just don't. Let me save you $50,000.
No, and you know me, I'll be like, and listen, quite frankly, Darci will be like, oh my God, I saw this thing and I think I want to do it. And I'm like, no, let's analyze it. Let's figure out if that's the best place.
Object, shiny object.
Right. Is that the best place to spend your money right now when we're focusing on this, right? Not that won't be in your future, but right now, that's not the best use of your money, right? So we have conversations like that. And I think it's hard because in this day and age, when somebody has a growth mindset, which is a good thing to have, like you have, I have it, we want to spend on everything, right? I need to learn this, I need to learn that. But in the end, you can't learn everything all at once, and it is a journey. And you cannot jump to the front of the line. You have to go through the process of growth.
Right. Yeah.
You have to, right? So sometimes earlier in a career as an interior designer or as a coach or anything else, an online entrepreneur, you need to offer services that maybe aren't just full service design, right? Or $1,500 to coach with me. You need to start smaller. And as you get known and as you fill up and as you are in demand, that's when your prices go up and you are very selective. But to go from I'm just getting out of design school or I'm a great designer and I don't have a degree, which I'm fine with, and I just want to work with the exclusive, it's kind of hard to play hopscotch,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? You haven't set your systems yet. You haven't gotten your team in place.
Oh my God, and the systems never end. It's like
Never end.
it's they never end. It's like we just came up with something the other day. We're like, we got to write a system for that to add another page.
Now, interestingly enough, the other day, I have a lot of clients who have purchased another coach's system. It doesn't matter who it is, but it's a great system, a great system. But yet they're still coaching with me. And I say, why? And they're like, because the system is bogging me down when I'm trying to do it perfectly and I'm trying to do it completely. And as a solopreneur, you have some employees at this point, but as a solopreneur, they're not able to keep up with all the systems.
Mm.
And I teach, you know what, it is a great system, but you need to modify it for where you are
Yeah.
in your career and realize that this is all a process. One little thing at a time.
I think I have a sad girl here. I need to go take care of.
Okay, go take it. Thanks for lending us your mommy.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thanks,
Bye.
Nancy, for
Bye,
allowing
guys.
me on.
Thanks, Darcy, for coming on. Talk to you
Okay.
soon. Bye.
Bye.
So anyway, you know what? I'm so glad Darcy came on, and she's been on with me before, and her journey is definitely a process, as is all of your journeys. And my journey and everybody's journey, our kind of life as a whole is always morphing and changing. So when I make somebody or ask somebody to do their business plan, it's not set in stone. It is not something that doesn't change as you learn and you grow and you realize that there's another avenue. I really teach set your goals, but as you go along your journey, keep your eyes wide open because there might be an opportunity out there that you never ever realized was available to you. Something that excites you that you never even considered. So as I ran expressive living, art consulting, and framing, and then realized that I could also do accessories because someone asked me to. And then I started seeing, you know what, I'm giving a lot of advice. I'm giving a lot of business advice. It's my superpower. So maybe I need to start coaching. I didn't say, well, my business plan was that I would make expressive living this successful and I would not stop until it was that successful financially. At some point, I thought it is time to morph into coaching, which is what I do best. So, as a funny final story, I will tell you, and you might have heard me say this before. When I was younger, my mother and father used to say, "Shut up, Nancy, you talk too much." My teachers used to say, "She'd be a straight A student if she didn't talk so much." You know what? I'm making a living by talking now, and I love it. If you are struggling growing your business, get on my calendar. I do a reduced cost strategy call at businesscoachnancy.com/consult. I think Caden, my business manager, and my son put it in the comments somewhere. You know, you don't want to sit there struggling, not sure what to do next. I ran an extremely successful business while raising 3 children. 3 children who all at times had medical issues, and they always, always, always came first. But as soon as I could get back to focusing on my business, I did. And it reaped tremendous amount of benefits for me. and my self-esteem and my confidence, and balanced my life actually, because I needed something else besides being a mommy, and being a good mom. I also needed to have that intellectual stimulation. So I know my love in life is helping other people grow businesses. So if you are struggling with profitability, sales, confidence, marketing, anything related to your coaching business, interior design business, web design, art business, anything that has that creative edge, um, I'd love to help you grow to the next level like I've done with Darci and many others. My clients are hands down becoming more profitable every day as we help them fine tune their process, their marketing, their sales, their confidence. So I hope to work with you guys soon. Join me next week for Weekend Wind Down. Thank you for being with me today. Business Coach Nancy, I will see you next week. I haven't scheduled the guest yet, I don't think, but I will check my calendar. Stay close to my business Facebook page, Nancy Ganzikoff for Business Coach, and you will be notified of when I go live. So thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. Bye. Thanks for watching. Share this broadcast if you found it to be valuable. I'd appreciate it.